All right, chat. So today we're going to be talking about characters and them getting simpler. So it's okay for characters to get simpler. It's pretty much the topic I want to talk about today. And specifically, we're going to be using Baiken as an example. So as you guys know, Baiken came into Guilty Gear Strive not too long ago. And this character is definitely a lot more simplified than her previous version, from her Plus R version for sure, obviously. And of course, her Exard version. Exard had a lot more tools this character had. Where she had like moving forward, and she was able to like basically like counter things. And then she had the Azami, which she could do in the air or on the ground. She had a high and low parry. She could do these out of block stun and stuff. So she has a lot more different game plan overall. Now she's more of an all-arounder. She has like, you know, they consider her like a lot more offensive heavy. But before, while she had the offensive heavy style, she also had like a very strong defensive style with like how her counters and work now. But back then, but now her counters are a lot more condensed in their nature. So her counter now is just a single counter that basically beats everything that isn't a projectile or throw now. And this is basically the simplification of this character. So they took away tools and they did this. So why is this okay for this game? Why is it okay for her to have just a more simpler game plan while it being still intact with the character? Well, one, it didn't change the core of the character that much. She still has the things that make Baiken. She still has the Tatami Max. She still has the counters. She still has like the same tools and stuff that you know and love about the character. It's retuned for the purpose of Guilty Gear Strive. Now, the way Guilty Gear Strives work, as I stated in multiple videos, this game is revolved around minus frames rather than plus frames. So characters are trying to manipulate their minus frames rather than utilizing plus frames. And Guilty Gear Xrd, a lot more things were plus. So characters would do things that were plus and stuff like that, and you had to revolve around that. In this game, people are doing things knowing they're minus, but still trying to use that to their advantage because you understand their block strings. And because the block strings are so simple in this game, you sort of just know what's coming. Like after close slash, you know another button that will frame trap you is coming. So that allows the character to do close slash, close slash. Even though it's minus, you still are respecting something like that because you know that at any point she could do this. She could do this. You know, there's so many different things you could do. So with that in mind, this allows a single counter with the actual simplicity of block strings in this game to be just as strong as it was before. You don't have to do it out of block stun. In fact, if you could do it out of block stun in this game, it will probably be too good because so many things are much more minus in this game than they are in Exar. Things are just more minus in this game. So the fact that you can use this counter like this in this game is very good, and it does massive damage. And of course, you can do the PRC setup thing. So it has a lot of good things going for it within this game. Now, what other reasons is it okay for a character to be more simplified? Well, some of you guys may not agree with this, but it is true. It brings a new audience to the character, right? Now, of course, the hardcore audience, the people that have been playing the character that say like, oh, you know, Baiken is my hardcore character. She is, you know, I don't know if she was hard to play before, but she definitely was harder to play before than that. Making her simpler, they don't like the character being simpler. Some people who always thought Baiken was this more, because you could definitely get confused by this character. She's definitely a more interesting, unique character where you see her, it looks like she's more of an offensive character. And I think they wanted to go to that side and appeal in this version of the game and actually bring her to that light, making her this offensive character that they were trying to showcase her as before. So now that she's more like that, they wanted to make her more beginner friendly, and it allows for more newer audience players to get a chance to actually play this character. They saw her before, most likely in the previous games. They probably didn't play it or seen her. They thought she looked cool, and she finally comes in this game, and what do you know, she's easier to play. Very different from the aspect of what happened to Jacko, right? Where Jacko was this beginner friendly character inside of Exard, and then she comes to this game, and all the Jacko people that are, or new people that was new to Exard and came to this game, maybe they thought Jacko was too hard and that was their character, and they probably don't like to change it because she actually became a much harder character to play with these resources and stuff like that. She doesn't have her DP. The minions aren't just auto, just do stuff. You actually have to manipulate them and stuff. So it's a lot more work than what it was before, as far as just setting them out and just kind of going crazy, and the minions just have your back because they're your boys. It's a little bit different in this game. So Baiken is the opposite of that, and that's why you will see like the sort of conflict of people who are interested in this character. Once again, people that have been playing the character for a while may not like the change. Some people may do, but it's definitely an appeal to newer players. One other good thing about this, or one thing to keep in mind when it comes to this, is simple game plan, or a simpler game plan does not equal less fun with the character, especially when the character gets different tools. So yes, they took things away, but she also got a lot more unique things. Like she has this new rope mechanic, and a lot of people are having fun with this, just manipulating the rope in different ways and seeing all different types of crazy things you can do with it. I have to say, and a lot of people were definitely saying it, people who were writing Baiken off at the beginning were saying she's a very fun character. She has one of, feel like one of the more unique mechanics of the game coming into, like, as far as the DLC. The DLC characters are unique in the aspect that they got meters to control, but she is one of the ones that is bringing a unique mechanic that actually changes the way the game is sort of like manipulated as far as the neutral and how it's played, and the gravity system within the game is very unique. Even people who don't play Baiken are having fun just doing combos on Baiken when they're tethered. So everyone is having fun with the character, even though they're not playing the character. That's a pretty unique thing, and it was something you don't really see a lot when it comes to fighting games nowadays. So they did a very good job when it comes to that, as far as people just having a good time with a character, even though they're not playing them, right? So once again, you can have fun with a character, even though they're more simple, because of the new things that they add to the character. This new tether mechanic, or just the new style of the character, can just be more fun. Rather than playing this defensive style, maybe, you know, you are on the defensive, like, oh man, like, you know, I thought Baiken was cool and she was more technical before, but then she had a more defensive style. But maybe your style is more offensive, so maybe when you play her, you're like, oh, this is actually fun. I can just go in, I can do crazy things. She has really good air buttons, she has high damage, you know, I'm countering, doing PRC, just unga bunga my way in and stuff like that. And this is like how you like to play the characters. This could be more fun for you, so you can have more fun with a character like this than, say, the defensive style, that if the offensive style is your type of play style. So don't write off a character that's more simplified for a game that's more simplified in general, in the retrospect of how the game actually is basically all I'm saying. So is it okay for characters to become more simple in the perspective of the game that they're in? I will say yes. Now, of course, if the game is not getting more simple, but the character is, that's a completely different conversation that we could definitely have a little bit later. But for this particular game, for this particular example, yes, it is. When a character comes into a game that is getting more simplified, I think it's okay. So definitely let me know how you guys feel about this, chat. Let me know how you guys feel about characters becoming more simpler. I definitely want to hear what you guys got to say in the Twitch chat here. And of course, for the people on the YouTubes, let me know down in the comments below how you guys feel about the simplification of characters. Do you think it's okay for characters to be simplified overall? Do you think it's okay for characters to be simplified if they are going into a more simpler system, like, say, Guilty Gear Strive from Exard? How you guys feel about that? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, like anything to say, drop me a like, I greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Baiken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.